Oh, I always get confused. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Amsterdam Talk Season 3, Episode 10. Actually, it's a doubleheader this week. Last night we gave you shit, I still got my other thing up. Sorry. Last night we gave you I'm single, but I'm not sorry. And then tonight we're giving you with Miss Latanya Michelle, dating after death. How you doing, Mr. Tanya? How you doing today?
I'm good, Rod. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Mm. Before we start, you tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Latanya Michelle, and I got my speaking start as a breast cancer survivor. I am a 16-year breast cancer survivor, and that's where my speaking abilities and all of my the majority of my stories come from. But I found myself in a marriage, a pretty tumultuous marriage, in 2015, and then he subsequently died 2 years later. So had to figure out another story. Well, I have another story to tell about around that situation.
Okay, so you were in a tumultuous marriage. How long you known each other before you actually decided to get married?
We met in 2011. We met online. I can't remember which site it was, but it was a free one. But we, we met online. I live in Austin, Texas, and he lived in
Okay.
San Antonio. So, there was a bit of a long distance. It's only 65 miles, but we didn't see each other every day when we were dating. But we dated from 2011, and then we got engaged in 2014 and got married in 2015.
So y'all were going back and 65 miles. Y'all were going back and forth from San Antonio to Austin.
Yes, and like at that time, I worked from home. I solely worked remotely, and so there would be times that I would go and stay for about a week or so in San Antonio, and it worked out. I would have never thought that anything was going on because I felt like I was always there.
Okay, so you're going back and forth. You're working from home, and you were staying there. So who decided to move in? So you obviously got married. So who decided to move in? Did you move to San?
I
I mean, moved
moved.
San Antonio, or he moved to Austin?
I moved to San Antonio, and it's really interesting because I have a house, and
Mm-hmm.
I had the house that I'm in now is the house that I decided to put as a rental property. There was
Okay.
a lot of arguments about me maintaining this house because he felt like I always had somewhere to go back to, and I ended up needing it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I was the one who made the. He has children, so
Mm-hmm.
it was easier for me to move to San Antonio. So I uprooted it. It's just me and the dog. So I uprooted me and the dog, and we moved to San Antonio.
Oh, so you don't have any children?
I don't know.
Okay, so you uprooted yourself and moved to San Antonio. So everything was, going on. So you said you got married in 2015, and then 2 years later, was it 2017? He passed away.
Yes, yes.
How did
So
how did he pass away?
he had a heart attack. He had a massive heart attack, and he had heart problems throughout his life. But
Oh,
that was just the one that it was very ironic because anytime he felt any type of way, he would tell me to call the EMS. So the 911, I felt like they were always at our house because anytime he felt any type of palpitation or he would say call EMS. And that night he didn't. It was really weird that night he did not. And the other interesting thing, and we'll get into the story, but that day on Facebook, he shared one of our pictures from one of our wedding pictures, and he put precious memories on that on as the caption. And I just thought that was extremely like it was interesting because he died that night. So
mm,
it was crazy, but we got married in January of 2015, 2 weeks before we got married. So around the first of the year, wake up one morning, I got a long message on Facebook. I mean, a long message in my Facebook Messenger from this chick. And she was telling me that all these horrible things about him.
Hold
And
up,
she
hold up.
was
When she wrote you this message, was he already deceased?
no, no, no. So I'm giving you the backstory now.
Oh, okay. All right.
So so January maybe first or second, 2015. I get
Mm,
this wake up to this message. This lady's name was Latanya as well.
mm,
And ironically, she also lived in Austin. So she tells me this tale about how she had dated him our relationships were pretty much parallel from
mm.
2011. And I think that she and him had broken up around 2014.
Okay.
But he had reached out to her in December of 2014 asking, do you think we could have worked out? So she told me all this. And I tell you, I often tell people, you know that meme that has the stop sign and the person is up under the stop sign. That was
Mm-hmm.
exactly what that moment was because I shouldn't have gotten married.
Okay.
He When I confronted him about it, he admitted to it. It was her and another person as well, and so we went through this. We definitely went through this time. The wedding was already paid for. It was January 2nd. Our wedding was January 17th. Everything was
Okay.
already paid for. So I made the decision to go ahead and go through with the wedding. He promised,
Mm-hmm.
cried, all those things, and said that he would never cheat on me again. And I believed him. I truly did. I truly, truly believed him. And I thought that I kept enough tabs on him that he wouldn't, that I would know if something was going awry. I wasn't even prepared. So it's a backstory to get to the dating after death part. So I hope that you'll
Okay.
allow me to tell this story.
Go ahead. We listening. They with you. They're listening. Put your thumbs up if you're listening. They listening.
So about 6 months into our marriage, I realized that we had our phones was on the same plan. So I was just looking at the phone bill one day, and I noticed that there was a series of numbers, a number that was on there that he would talk to a lot. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Who is this? It ended up being this chick from work, and that was just the start of it. So I started getting random text messages. So I think that this is around the time that those secret text messaging apps where you could create a phone number and send somebody a text message anonymously. I
Okay.
started getting these messages saying your husband is cheating on you, your husband has women at work. It was all kind of crazy shit. Okay.
Mm.
So
So
we
what did
went,
he do?
what type of work did he do?
Yeah. What type of work
He,
did he
he
do?
was a supervisor in a call center. So he had a lot of
Okay.
young girls up under him.
Okay. Call some.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so he was big man on campus and he was feeling himself. So went through 2015, 2016, arguing, going from counselor to counselor. It was crazy. Just trying to do everything to save this marriage. Get to 2017. In July of 2017, we went on a trip to New Orleans, and for some reason in the hotel that Sunday, I decided to go through his phone. He was asleep, he was drunk from the night before. I decided to go through his phone. And of course, they say don't go looking if you don't want to find something. I wasn't ready for the things that I found. It was so many conversations that were in his phone between him and women that a married man should not be having.
Right.
Down to one woman telling him how to tell me that he needed to leave the house to come see her, like all kind of craziness. And the excuse was because her mother had died. And I remember this. Like I remember him telling me one of my friends' mother died, and I need to go check on them. He never said who, that it was a male or female. So in July of 2017, I made a decision that I was going to leave. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this shit no more. So
Mm.
July, I shared with my family that he was cheating on me. Prior to then, no one else knew. And I felt like me sharing with my family that he was cheating would be what I needed to leave. And
Right.
then I started bargaining, I guess, if you will. And I was like, okay, so if the people who live in my house, if they say that they want to renew their lease, I'm going to take that as a sign that I should stay in this marriage and work it out. But if they don't, I'm out. I'm going. So around October, um, the conversation started to renegotiate their lease.
Who was all living in the house?
So in my house, in this house that I'm in now, I had rented it out. So there was a family living in this house.
Oh, so you talking about other people, the people that lived? Oh, I thought you were talking about like the people that lived in your house. Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, so the rental property, if they wanted to stay, you was okay. I got it.
I was going to stay in the marriage, but if they
I got
didn't,
you.
I was like, okay. Right. When I tell you the people who lived in this house, they resigned their lease November 14th, and my husband died November 15th. And I was
Wow.
like, okay, wait a minute. That wasn't part of the plan. So I was like,
Mm,
what am I supposed to do? So he, like I said, the morning, the morning that he died, I'm going through his phone to call people. And I come across his secret text messaging app, and I see a message in there from a woman that says, I woke up this morning with you on my mind. I wanted to apologize to you for the way that I talked to you the last time we talked. But
mm,
I don't want you to come by my house anymore because I want you to respect your marriage. That's essentially what it said. So I responded and I told her, my husband died this morning, so neither one of us have to worry about him calling you or coming to see you again. I was
right,
pissed. I was pissed because I was like, now he's dead. So I have to take care of his funeral because he's a reflection of me at this point. So I was
right,
extremely pissed. I wasn't your typical grieving widow. I was sad. I mean, of course, somebody's going to be sad about somebody dying, but I
right.
was sad, but it wasn't to the point of, oh my God, I'm so distraught.
Mm,
So 2 weeks after he died, my property manager for this house called me and told me that my tenants were having marital problems and they wanted to know if they could break their lease. I'm like, you know
right,
what? When can they move? Because I need them more than they need me right now. So they ended up moving out. So that's how I ended up getting my house back. So because I wasn't now I was sad, but I wasn't because I wasn't distraught. I tried to figure out how long is a reasonable time to mourn? Like how long before I can get back out there? Because I wanted to be respectable. But it was so crazy getting back into dating after having been through a really messed up relationship and the trauma of being in that relationship. So
right,
everybody, I don't think I waited. I think I did 3 months. I think I waited 3 months, and for me, I felt like 3 months was a respectable time to mourn before I started back dating.
right.
But everybody that I have dated since that time, they probably get the worst of me because I think I still feel like I carry so much emotional baggage to where I'm questioning everything and I'm um truly not allowing them to be themselves because of the things that I went through. So um it's been a little difficult. It's been a hard pill to swallow because these people don't
Right.
have they don't have anything to do with it. So it's just something that I'm working through.
Right. So okay. So so I guess I could say what him stating like, for every palpitation or everything he felt that was wrong with his heart, he kind of knew this was coming.
Mhm.
So
I
he
think
kind of knew
so.
like it was a premonition that he
I
knew that
think
he
really
may go.
he knew something was going to happen. The night before he died, I had a meeting and I went downstairs with him. He was watching wrestling, and I sat there on the couch for a second, and he told me of how much he loved me, and I was like, okay, yeah, I love you too. But so we were. I think that I do feel like my husband did love me. He was a hoe. Like I think that was
Mm,
ingrained in him. His father. So my husband was 41 when he passed away. His father died in a similar, well, not a similar manner, but his father died
young.
at 40 from a heart attack. But the difference was his father was in the other woman's bed when he died. So um it was somebody said I think it was WWE wrestling. But it was a similarity. And but I'm thankful that I didn't have the ridicule of his father. I mean, like that he had died with somebody else. It was already bad enough that he was cheating, but to have been with somebody else, I think that would have been a little bit much.
Right. At that time in 2017, Black Marvel, this had to be WWE. AEW wasn't around then. I'm an avid wrestling fan, so Impact was around, but I'm
It
pretty
was a
sure if it was
Tuesday
on,
night. It was a Tuesday night.
it
So
was a Tuesday night, so it must have been NXT. it was it was NXT that's filmed down in Orlando, Florida, on the
mm,
campus of I forgot the science school, but it's on that campus. Um, I got accepted there, and I can't even think of the name of it. But anyway, yeah, it was NXT on if it was Tuesday.
it was a Tuesday night. Yes. Yes.
Wow, Tuesday night. So you gave yourself 3 months.
Hmm.
3 months. I mean, well, you said grieving, but there's really no timetable for people, to grieve.
This
But I
is
guess
true.
you stated that you had so much baggage wrapped up into it, so it was just like, hey, I'm just gonna go and do me.
Yes.
Guess. So you couldn't let the guys be themselves because you said you had so much baggage. So what did you do to clear that up? To decide to let somebody become themselves because now it's been 5 years now.
Hmm. Hmm. You know what? Therapy. Listen, I'm a big advocate for therapy. I had to truly go to therapy because one of the things that my therapist told me early on is that you have to forgive yourself. You have to
Okay.
forgive yourself for allowing yourself to be in that situation, because if not, you're going to hold this over everybody else, and you're going to find yourself not able to be in a relationship. And that's exactly, it took me a long time to forgive myself, and actually telling this story is what has been helpful in my healing. Um, and so I'm a little bit more trusting now. I will say though, I do still have some times where things don't seem right, that
Hmm.
I have to remind myself, okay, you know what? This might not be the same thing, but my cutoff game is real strong these days. Like I have very low tolerance for nonsense.
I think we heard this in episode season 2, episode 28 about a cutoff game being strong and low thing for tolerance. When really it is like people. I guess I would say the flags are there. People just
Yes.
tend to ignore them. So
Yeah.
and the biggest thing that I've been having to go through was just communication because I know myself personally, I'll hold shit in, and it's like once everything
Mm-mm.
falls apart, it's like, all right, now I want to say something, but it's more like I'm living by TNC's words of transparency and uh communication.
Mhm.
That's what I was told to do. You got to be more transparent. You got to you communicate because um basically everything can be talked out. You got to see
Yeah.
where you coming from and see where I'm coming from. But so back to your story. So you started dating just by meeting people, or you went back to the root of everything, back to the apps, or back to the free apps, or whatever you went from.
I went back to the. Oh, wait a minute. No, you know what? The first guy I met him at Walmart. This shit was crazy. Um, I had to run to Walmart one Sunday, and I was looking a hot ass mess. Okay, like my dress had a hole in it. My hair needed to be retwisted. I looked horrible.
Mm,
And it was on the frozen food aisle. And he walked up to me. He was tall. He was like 6'5", and I was just like, okay, just completely mesmerized. He um he worked for the airline, so he had on his airline uniform. And back then and I love to travel, so but back then I was truly on some catch flights, not feeling shit. So I was like, oh, this gonna be easy. So he asked me for my phone number, and he was a gentleman, but it was things that he was probably the first one that had to say, "I'm not your husband. Like I'm not doing the same stuff that he was." But I didn't trust him, and that was the first relationship, so I didn't trust. I had those major trust issues at that time, probably because I had not given myself enough time to grieve.
Possibly.
Yeah, I definitely recognize that now. But then I needed to have fun. I wanted to have sex, and that's, that's what I wanted. Hey, we keeping it real, right? Like,
Yes, we are keeping it real. We are. So I'm listening to your story, and so are the people that's watching. They listening to your story. So you didn't trust Slim, but then you just said, "I just wanted to have sex." Okay, all right, cool. And you can finish with your story. Go ahead. I'm listening.
but it got to the point where I felt myself. I was unable to disassociate the sex from the feelings, and so and I won't say I would catch him and stuff, but his stories just wasn't adding up. The math wasn't mathing at times.
Okay.
And so I think we were in a relationship for about 9 months. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to deal with you no more. And I cut him off.
Oh,
Then I did go to the apps. I went back to the apps because I was trying to say, what it's easy. It's just easier. Austin is very white,
okay.
and so I didn't have any desire to date outside of my race.
Right.
So for me, I definitely wanted to date someone that was of African American descent.
Okay.
So it was just easier, and I have had since 2018 ish, maybe 3 or 4 relationships, three or four that and I'm not in a serious relationship now. And I think that's the other thing. I haven't taken relationships serious since then. And that's probably still part of the healing aspect because um
Somebody yelled on his 6th Street, Travis County.
6th Street, Travis. No, so we don't hang out on 6th Street no more because 6th Street is for the teeny boppers. And you might get shot going down to 6th Street. So listen, if you come to Austin, I'm gonna take you to 6th Street, but we're gonna go around 7 or 8 because we're gonna get off and down there before the foolishness starts.
There you go, Black Mom. You got your ticket down to Austin,
You
678th Street.
But we ain't hanging on 6th Street. We're gonna go to the Domain. That's the more like the upper echelon. So that's where we're gonna hang out. But it was I think I was talking about so the other like relationships now. It's like I don't want to hear I love you. Like I want you to show me.
Okay.
My husband really messed me up with that because
Okay.
it was always I love you. And I'm like, okay, if you love me, why are you cheating on me? Like you can't love me because you cheating on me. So I'm more show me the actions. I don't want to hear the words. Give me the
Right.
action. So and a lot of people have a hard time with that. I'm
But
finding.
but don't you think you was like on another level than what they was because you said you just wanted to have sex and they fall in love like y'all were going opposite directions.
Well, I'm saying I do like in a in some of the relationships I have wanted to be in a relationship, but because I'm so no nonsense, that's just, you know, you got to show me instead of telling me. I don't mind. It's not all about the sex. It was about the sex at the beginning. I'm ready to be in a
That I
relationship.
mean, but ain't that how it normally starts? It's like I just want to do this, and then you really start catching feelings because as the young boy from Sarcasm and Orgasms who was on here 2 weeks ago, you can't be running around just letting people stick anything in you because you start catching some of it start becoming
Yeah.
transfusion of energy start happening,
This is true. Yeah, and
and
energy is very important. So
you
I
might
will
have a
say,
demon put inside you.
yeah, and I ain't got time for that. You could have a demon or something that you can't get rid of. And I will say as my disclaimer, I'm not having sex with anybody who's not going to get tested. We got to have papers. We got to show them papers. So that's right.
Okay, that's fine too.
That's right. So, but I'm not saying, I definitely feel like we have to match energies or it is not happening. Um, so
See,
So
dating
Black
after
Marvel,
divorce has been
yes.
hell. Yeah, dating after divorce has been hell. So I can only imagine doing that with my spouse untimely passing.
It's
And
rough.
somebody said behind it, you demon dick. So, but no, now I gotta no, but see, I want to go back to this after the death. So you plan the funeral. Did
Yes.
any of these people from the call center come?
So I don't know.
Did
Listen,
did the
I was
woman you
just
tell
praying
that
that
died,
nobody
did
should
she come?
the the what?
The woman that you texted said he died, did she come?
So let me tell you something that happened at the funeral. His children were all adult, well, like early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So I had decided that we were going to view the body at the beginning of the funeral, and then
Mm-hmm.
we were going to close the casket, and I went open it back up.
Right.
So the oldest daughter comes to me maybe 15 minutes before the funeral starts, and she was like, "Can you please open the casket up again at the end?" And I said, "Why?" She was like, "Because I just want to see my daddy." I said, "That what?" I said, "There you go. Like, go see him right now.
Mm.
Go see it." So I realized my family was driving in, so they were running a little late. So you know how in the black funeral you line the family up, and the family marches in together or walks in together or whatever. The chick that I had texted back that morning,
Mm-hmm.
she came in late. And
Mm.
so I'm thinking that she had probably had contact with his oldest daughter, because of course the children knew all about his hoes. They knew about him.
Hold on. You're their stepmother, and you've been around for about 6 years now,
Yep.
and they knew.
So the one who contacted me in January of 2015, the
Mm-hmm.
way that she found out about me, because back then he didn't have his real name as his Facebook name. He had just a random name.
Okay.
So she had friended his daughter. And from that, I guess
Mm-hmm.
she had gone back through the daughter's pictures, and she saw pictures of me and him. Then that led to her finding my page, and it was, yeah, yeah. So
Hold on. So now I'm confused with their relationship now, because the fact is she's being a stalker to find out, like, did he not lay it out there and be like, yo, I have a whole family, I have a wife, I have this and that and the other, and then she start going, I,
well, this was before we got married. So that
okay,
was that 2 weeks before. So this was the one who reached out to me. Um, this was the one who reached out to me initially. So she came through, and I was like, I know that's that girl, and I recognized her because of course I looked her up because I wanted to see who she was. So I done been all through her Facebook page as well. So
okay,
I was like, that's her. And then I started thinking, like, his oldest daughter was probably trying to ensure that she was able to view her daddy or whatever before we
okay,
he was. So I was worried about somebody was gonna show up with a baby. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I was like, listen, I had some strong rules. Okay, I don't want we ain't gonna have it to where everybody can get up and talk. We got 5 people who gonna get up and talk. That's how we're gonna have to do expressions. That's it. I ain't having no random people get up. And isn't, I mean, to think about having to plan a funeral and having those types of worries.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it was a lot.
No, I don't think anybody would have got up there and said anything like, excuse me right here, but I don't think anybody gonna get up and say, yeah, he used to take me in a call room bathroom or nothing like that, and do anything like that, nature. I think they would have just spoke peacefully about him.
Well, his children's mother, she got up, and she's not the brightest person, but she talked about how they were in love in high school, and how, I mean, I will say she did thank me for taking care of her children, but she talked, it was real ghetto. I was so embarrassed because she talked about how their relationship was built on love and all this. I'm just like, can this hurry up and be over? Like,
No, she kind of got a right, because is all 3 children hers?
yes.
so she kind of got it right. Like she done bed three, and she thanked you for it. So I kind of give her a pass because she has an opportunity to speak there because she did bear three children from this dude. So we can't say it was like a mistake. She had two
I
more
mean, I
after
got
it.
you. I got you. I got you. But I was just like, I mean, and if that was, and that was probably the most uncomfortable thing. I will say the youngest girl, when I did allow the children to speak. So the youngest girl said, the youngest girl said she apologized to me for the way that she had treated me. And it was so crazy because she and I, she was the youngest, so she was in the house the longest, and we were always at each other's throat. And she had moved out for about 2 months right before he died. The weekend before he died, we had allowed her to move back in. The day, that evening before he died, she came into our bedroom and she told me that she said, "I'm sorry for being so ugly to you. I would hate for something to happen to me, like I die or something, and the only memory you have of me is the way I treated you." And then her daddy died. I'm just like, oh my God.
Wow.
So yeah. Craziness.
Mm.
Black Marvel is a comedian. I see.
So my question with this would be is this: what was your relationship with the children?
You know, so the other
Because
Latanya,
that has to be a big step right there. Like I'm married to this woman, but the relationship with my children is rocky. That's kind of crazy.
when I met him, they were, I think the oldest one may have been 14. No, she may have been 15 when I met them. So 15, 13, and 11 when I met him. So, I saw these girls through high school, made sure they had wonderful prom experiences, made sure they had everything for graduation. And so I tried to be that motherly figure. Their mother, I didn't, when I met him, their mother was in prison at that time. So
Okay.
that's where her thank yous came from in that regard. But so
Where
we
she go
had,
to? Do you know what she went to jail for?
oh, it was drugs. It was definitely
Okay.
drugs. Yeah. Yeah. So he so our relationship was good. You know what? It was better when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. But when we got married, the middle one, it's all the middle child always has issues. The middle child had the biggest issue with us being married. I don't know what her. I think, and what I think it was, he had paraded so many women in and out during the time that we were dating that they didn't think that he was going to settle down. So
Okay. So okay, that's another issue in itself.
yeah,
Letting your children meet all these people, that's another
yes,
issue in
yes,
itself.
yes.
S-
And and,
So
and let me
go
tell
ahead.
you, it's crazy because the oldest boyfriend the oldest girl's boyfriend, he tried to tell me that my husband was cheating on me. But because the girl's name was Latanya and she lived in Austin, I assumed that he was talking about me.
Right.
It's so crazy. Like Austin ain't that damn big, and Black Austin show ain't. That he found two Latanyas in Austin. So um that the other Latanya, she was. I'm thinking whenever I wasn't there, she was. So
Okay.
he did it. He did it.
All right. So okay. So we're gonna forward back to the funeral. So did you open the casket up?
No,
Okay,
no.
you didn't open the casket up.
I had it open before the funeral. If you wanted to see his ass, you needed to go see him. I'm sorry. If you wanted to view the body, you had to go before the funeral started. And then he
Okay.
was cremated. So I had a funeral because the children wanted to have a funeral, but I was trying to save as much money as I could because, again, keep in mind, I'm scorned. But
Right.
because you're a reflection of me, I'm going to make sure that you're put away respectfully. But he was cremated.
Okay.
And and when I left San Antonio, I gave his remains to his children, told them to take care of their daddy. So I don't know where.
So that was my next question. So the house, you just left the house to the children?
So the house that we were in San Antonio was a rental property. So
Okay.
because I was coming back to my house, I decided to break the lease. I didn't want to live in that house anymore. The children,
Right.
the youngest girl who had came back home, she went with her mother. She went and stayed with her
Okay.
mother for a little while, and um, so it wasn't like I was abandoning them. I actually offered, "Do y'all want to come to Austin?" Because I was being nice. Do y'all want to come to Austin? But they didn't, thankfully. So
Do you still keep in touch with them today?
no. The youngest, we're friends on Instagram. But other than that, that's it. She has a child now, so I sent her money for the child last Christmas, but we
Mm.
don't talk at all.
Oh, I think you should. I mean, even though you had a tumultuous situation with their dad, but just getting to know them and loving them, and they became adults, I still think you should open up the gates for them at least.
It's been
I,
5 years.
listen,
It's been five
I,
years. I'm good. Okay. Let me just say this. If they reached out to me, I would do whatever I could for them. And that's in the beginning, they were calling me to for money. And so
right.
that's when I was just like, you ain't even calling me to see how I'm doing, but you're calling me for some money. So if they were just to call just to say, hey, how are you doing or whatever, I would be more than happy to talk to them. My number ain't changed, okay, at all. So
So, is his parents still living?
no. So
Okay,
his
so his
his
parents
both
ain't
his
living.
father passed away, and then his mother passed away. That's a whole nother story. His mother passed away on our wedding night.
Hold on, hold on. What? So his mother was at the wedding?
No, she was in hospice.
Okay.
So, but we didn't think it was end of life. Like we truly didn't think it was end of life. Um, but yeah, she didn't die January 17th. She actually died January 18th, but it was that night. So
Okay.
um, so yes. It started off, man. I'm telling you, the signs was there. All the signs was there. Like
I don't know. It seemed like the Grim Reaper around there somewhere. I don't know.
listen, that's why we had to get rid of that mess. And I in all honesty, I didn't want to bring anything of his back to my house. I was just like, it was crazy. Even my furniture. I did bring the couch back. It was a brand new couch. We had just got it. My dog, who for all intents and purposes is a very good dog, she tore up the couch. She's like, you know what? I don't like she clawed at it to where I had to get rid of it because
So
I'm thinking she just
what? No. So the couch had. So now I'm starting to think about the Conjuring right now. Like the couch had spirits in it or something. Like
the
because
dog.
normally when animals they detect like evil. I mean, not, well, just animals in period. They detect evil. So um, the couch. I needed exorcism. I guess. I don't know.
Listen, I'm telling you, I've had the dog. The dog lasted throughout the dog has been with me longer than the relationship. My dog is 13 years old, so she had never acted like that before. She has we'd had at least two couches before I got married. She's never torn up a piece of furniture the way that she did that couch. It's it, there is no way I can explain it. Like, but now I have a new couch and she can't get on it because I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to I don't want to test it because I'm just like, but yeah,
Mm.
she totally tore it up. But there are some family members that he has, and I will say I do have a book. I'm co-author in a book about what's the title? I forgot the title. It comes out in February, and I'm telling this story. I'm telling this story about the demise of my marriage. I'm telling it from a more spiritual aspect, but And in writing the story, that was part of my healing. But I was really scared about telling this story because I didn't want his family to come back and be like, that I'm dogging. Black people be like, don't talk bad about the dead, but it was holding me back. And like, so in telling this tonight, this is the second time that I verbally have told this story and admitted to the world and people that I don't know that I was in a very bad relationship. So it's healing for me.
Well, they say sometimes, talking about it actually heals things. That's why most people go seek therapy. But
Yes.
I'm thinking more like everything that you're saying, like some holy water, crucifixions, garlic, a steak, a silver bullet. Um, am I missing anything out there, y'all? For these horror movie fans, don't go to sleep. What was they taking in Nightmare on Elm Street? What the hell
Listen,
is it
oh
called?
my God. What's funny?
Hypnosil.
He had this, he had this, he had this, one of those fireproof boxes. I did bring the fireproof box with me because I wanted to see, I didn't know what was in it. And I was like, I kept it in my garage for the longest time. And then one night I was cleaning up and I was like, you know what? Let me pull this. It was during the pandemic, I didn't have shit to do. So I pull it out. This box, I kid you not, Rod. When I went to open it, it's like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I hear birds chirping.
Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, birds are chirping at.
Well, I'll give you a pass because during the pandemic, they used to wake me up 3:30 every morning. I don't know what the fuck they were out there doing, but they used to wake me up every
Okay, because
morning. So
that messed me up. That messed me up.
birds were outside because they knew the humans weren't outside. They was outside midnight, wee hours of the night. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but I had a conversation with my best friend about this. Like the birds keep waking me up. I'm like, yeah, the birds keep waking me up 3 o'clock in the
That
morning.
was
Like, what are y'all still
crazy.
doing?
That was crazy as shit. Like, I'm like, why do I hear birds? That messed me up. I was like, let me put this box back where it was, because
So what was in the box?
it was letters from, I believe it was letters from a woman that he had met online prior to meeting me. And I will say she did reach out to me. She reached out to me once she found out that he had died. She was very respectful. Like that, she wasn't one that I was threatened by. But she reached out maybe a year later because she realized that he wasn't posting on Facebook anymore. And she subsequently found out that he had passed away. So it was letters from her.
Okay.
Yeah, but I shredded them.
So you shredded the letters. Do you still have the box?
I do still have the box. That's probably the one thing that I have of his. That might be the
So
only thing I have
what
left.
about? I mean, what about the good times? Like the good times, like no pictures, no memories, anything like that. Because it
It's
all
bad.
couldn't have been tumultuous. It had to be
It
some
was
good times in there.
what was interesting. The weekend before he died, we went to a wedding in Florida. It was amazing. We had an absolutely amazing time. So I was really thankful that I did get a chance to have that good time before he died. So that last weekend, everything was perfect. It was our first trip alone that we didn't have the kids or the dog. So it was really good. And we made plans and we talked about how we would go. It was in Florida, so we talked about going back to Florida with the kids, and so it was good. And like I said, I was thankful for that because whew, the 48 hours after we got back to San Antonio, it was hell.
Okay, so this is 5 years later now, and you reached another. I guess you reached another point in your life now. So, like, how is the dating going? Is there anybody serious, or you just still out here just doing what you're doing? What's going on these days after 5 years?
I wouldn't say anybody. Well, you know what? I don't know who watching. Okay, I won't say that. So I'm not in a relationship.
Okay,
Listen, no, okay. Let me be serious.
I'm listening to you.
I'm not in a relationship. I have a situationship. But it's probably more because of me not wanting to be tied down. Listen, I don't know that I can be in another um heavily committed relationship. Um like as in I don't care to get married again.
Okay,
Yeah. So
that's
been there, done that.
respectful.
So and you had asked about pictures. I do have some pictures. For a long time, you know how Facebook memories, whenever Facebook memories would pop up, I would untag myself. I would like I
Mm.
don't see this shit at all. I stopped short of unfriending him, but but I don't want to see it. But I do still have pictures. But I I I, I like entertaining. I like talking to various people. So nobody I won't say nobody serious because I try to make everybody in my life feel like they're the only one. So
So hold on. So you're trying to make it feel like they don't? No, that's not being
they
transparent.
know
That's not
about each
having.
other. Hold on, they do know about each other. They
Well, there's
know.
only five. There's only five black people in Austin. Of course, they know about each other. The other 95 people come when South by Southwest, whatever it's called, Southwest, whatever that festival's called. That's the only other 95 people come.
You're right. You're right. I can't.
So they all know about each other. So they all know about each other and they have no problem with it.
I won't say that they don't have problems with it, but um, because I'm transparent. Because if anything, that my marriage situation taught me to be transparent. So I'm truly transparent. And and so again, so because I like to travel, so if I say, "Hey, I want to go here," like I know who I want to. I know which person that I talk to that I want to take to this place. I know who I want to take to. Because they all have different personalities. Oh, okay, let me hold on. Let me not say it like it's 4 or 5 of them. It's like 3 people. It's like 3 people. So
Okay, wow, just subtract one. You just said like 4 or 5 is three. Wow. Okay, that makes it even better. It's one less. Okay, so you
okay, so
take so
Barry and
okay, so
Adrian.
you take this person on the trip with you, and you tell this person that you tell these guys, yeah, I'm taking him with me this
Yeah,
weekend. So
yep.
they don't call you or nothing.
Um, no, no. I'm really respectful. If I'm with somebody, their time is their time.
Okay, so say if they decide to go out with somebody else, how are
That's
you
fine.
reacting to
As
that?
long as you tell me, that's fine. Be honest. I'm all about honesty. Be honest about it.
So are you to the point now that you get ready to have a poly relationship?
You know what? I considered it, but I don't know that I don't think that that's what I want. I
I
don't
mean,
want it in that level.
if you talking all, I don't want to get in your business because if you're doing whatever you're doing with all three, I mean, you might as well go that route. Make it one big happy family. They can bring y'all can all split the rent like Mexicans.
You know what? No, I'm not. Not
I'm
this-
just trying to make some sense out of this, after everything that happened. I understand you say that the guy brother died. Um, right, brother husbands. Somebody just said that, brother husbands. So I'm just trying to make sense out of it. So I understand you went through a tumultuous marriage, passed away, you needed healing, and then hold on, somebody just said men cannot really commit to a poly relationship.
That's true.
Okay.
It's a
All
lot
right.
of things that men can agree to or be agreeable to as long as they have the ability to do what they want to do. But don't nobody don't no man want to. Well, I won't say none, but most black men. We're gonna say black men.
Okay. So do you ever feel, do you ever feel like, when you out with these guys, he just might just jump out his grief and come get y'all?
No,
That, I'm just asking.
no, I haven't had that situation because I started. I'm honest at the door. This is this
Okay.
is this is how this is my life. This is who's in my life, and this person in my life is non-negotiable. So if you can't handle that, then it would probably be best that we don't entertain each other. So that's
Okay.
that's
So what I get from this, I'm no doctor and I'm no psychiatrist, but what I get from it is that once you did what you well, not say did what you did, but once what once everything came to the light in your wedding and your marriage and the death happened, now it's like Pandora's box opened and said, I just want to go do what the fuck I want to do now. And
yeah,
I'm not
a free spirit,
doing
a free
you
spirit.
but yeah, but it seemed like you all to that time that y'all were together, it was always there. It's just I don't think you knew how to bring it out of you.
Well, okay, so let me just tell you, my therapist, my
Mm-hmm.
psychologist, he hates it. He hates my lifestyle. He hates that I'm so free and yes, because he feels that I haven't properly grieved. And I'm like, in some aspects, I can agree to it. I can agree
Mm-hmm.
that I probably haven't grieved the way anybody else would. I didn't take a long period of mourning. I got rid of everything. I did not want to have any. Essentially, I wanted to erase those. If I could erase from 2011 to 2017, if I could erase that shit, listen, I would totally erase it. Um, and so he doesn't
Okay.
like
You want to put a Men in Black thing in front of you with the
that
little
part.
beam. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what I want. That's what I
All right.
want.
So, but this is the part where we come to. This is a segment of the show we call "I Be Damned," where somebody sends me their hard dating. I don't even know if we need to do one tonight because you just set it off tonight with it. But this is the part of the show where someone sends me a dating story of a horrible story today. So I got this from the Dread God today, and he basically was stating, in the I Be Damned, that this lady catfished him pics of her daughter.
Oh.
So he didn't say where it's coming from. Here we go. So I'm on the app and I matched with this beautiful Haitian goddess named Elisa. We exchanged Snapchats, but the convos we had were kind of dry and never really went anywhere. Then one day she randomly sent me nudes. She's like, when you going to pull up on me? I was a young little hornball, so I was like, whenever. She was like, okay, we can do that, but let's get to know each other first. We text from time to time, but we didn't really have anything in common at all. So when we didn't talk for a couple days, she would just send nudes out the blue and we would start talking again. This cycle repeated for a month. She said she couldn't OVO cause whatever the hell OVO
Mhm.
cause her camera was broken. But she gave me her Instagram. We would like pics of each other and flirt back and forth in the comments. I noticed friends and family in the comments section too, so I didn't think anything suspicious. So one afternoon, she texted me telling me how she's ready to let me beat that thing into the shadow rim and no trap card. I'm like, okay, where? She tells me her family's having a cookout. She says to pull up, but don't get out of the car. Just text her when I get there and she will find me and then we can slide back to her place. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Bring me a plate. Side note, and this is my part of the story. Niggas always want a plate from a cookout. So he asked for a plate. So back to the story. I pull up, it's a big park. I spot black people, music, and a grill. So I'm like, okay, this gotta be it. I park on the side and text her, the dick has arrived. She don't text back. I'm in the car for damn near an hour sending multiple texts. Calling, she ain't answering. Then I look up and see her at the table in the middle of the cookout. I'm like, oh my God, she's even finer in person. I'm like, let me just wave her over here. I'm out the car waving, and she sees me and walks over. I'm like, finally, damn. She walked over, and I say, hey, Alicia, I've been calling you. LOL, you ready? She's like, do I know you? I'm like, it's me, Avery. She's like, the boy from Instagram? What are you doing here? How did you find me? I'm like, what do you mean? You invited me. Then some dude walked up and said, everything okay, baby? Baby. She's like, this guy, I think he knows me. I'm like, oh wow, so you're gonna do it like that? He's like, what you mean, playboy? I'm like, man, I'm gonna let her tell you that's between y'all. I open my car door and he runs over and shuts it and says, nah, playboy, I'm gonna let you tell me. Like five or six of his people run over there. Her dude starts yelling, asking about how I know this girl. And I ain't about to get jumped for no one. So I was like, we've been talking for a couple weeks, and she told me pull up. She's like, baby, I talked to him a couple times on Instagram. Nothing serious. He's a lie and a half. I'm like, oh really? You ain't send me nudes? She's like, no. What the fuck, baby? Whoop his ass. Her man say, my bitch don't send nudes. Playboy, prove it. I'm like, is this your bitch? Her man starts snapping. What the fuck, Alicia? She like, I don't know how he got those. I'm like, you sent them to me. Now everything's getting crazy and there's arguing and finger pointing, and I feel a fight about to break out. Then someone taps me on my shoulder. I turn around. Alicia says, "Mama, go back to the table. It's okay. Stay out of this." I look down and see this old tatted up lady with gold teeth, like nothing like Alicia, and smelled like Newports. She's like, everybody stop all this foolishness now, and tells me and Alicia to follow her to the table away from everyone. We follow her, and her boyfriend follows behind us close. I see some people at the cookout looking over trying to figure out what's going on. Alicia says, Mama, this ain't got nothing to do with you. This boy's lying. I never sent him that shit. Her mama like, hush, Alicia, then turns to me and says, hey, Avery. I'm like, huh? How you know my name? This is what she says word for word. It's been me that's been texting you for the past month. Now I may have used some of my daughter's pictures, but this is real and I'm talking to you, so I think we should see where things go from here. Her daughter says, Mama, what? She like, shush, Alicia. Now, Avery, I just want to get you to know me from what's on the inside. I said, I already know who you are on the inside. A goddamn liar and a waste of my goddamn gas, you old bitch. Her and her daughter start arguing, talking about you always do this shit, Mama. I just walked to my car and left after I got a to-go plate. I got all the way home and her mama texted me. Guess what she said? Are you still mad? I be damned.
Hell no. No.
And that's the end of the story. So basically, the end of the story is that Alicia's mother was sending her news of Alicia's mother was sending news of her daughter catfish this young boy to go
But
over
how
there to
did
lay
her
that
mama
poop.
get? I want to know how her mama got the news. That's the question.
I don't know, but she got the nudes and she sent them over to who she sent them over to him, and she wanted to throw it on his young ass. So was the 1983 that gospel hit "Hell is a Hot Place, Ain't No Roaches There"? Somebody has a question for you. Was there 1983 that gospel hit "Hell is a Hot Place, Ain't No Roaches There" performed at the funeral?
I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. It was.
So you know, the thing is, like, I'm happy you beat breast cancer. You said you're 16 years survived. I'm happy
Yes.
you beat that. I'm
Thank
happy you living your life like you finally want to live your life. And I can't wait till the book comes. You never told us the name of the book. Can't wait to see what the book comes out
So
as.
the actual book is Voices of the 21st Century. It's an anthology. So I'm
Okay.
one of the authors in the book. It's Voices of the 21st Century Women. I should know this. It's slipping me now, but yes,
Okay. What's the 20? And it comes out when?
February 2023.
February 2023. Just in time for Valentine's Day. Voices of the 21st Century. If
Women
anybody wanna
transforming the world. That's what women transforming the world.
Women
Yes.
transforming the world. If anybody needs to reach you, and because they're going through grieving, or they just want to know anything, how can they reach you?
I can be reached at both Instagram and Facebook under Latanya Speaks. So Instagram at Latanya Speaks and Facebook.com/Latanya Speaks, or my website, which is www.latanyamichelle.com.
Okay, so we're gonna see Latanya in a couple weeks for our breast cancer survivor special. Actually, yeah, should have did it this month because it's this month, but I totally slipped my mind. I got
It's
booked
okay.
up
I
with
can do
some
it
other stuff.
anytime. I can do it anytime. And I just want to take a point of personal privilege to give a shout out to Jackson State University. Go Tigers. Class of
Oh
99.
Lord,
Class
oh
of
Lord. I'm just shaking my head. I'm as a bunch of people. You on the HBCU Lounge Network. I'm an Eastern Shore alum, Maryland Eastern Shore alum. Couple A&T alums, Dell State alums on here tonight. Everybody's in here. All 107 of us are here. So I guess she wanted to say "Go Tigers." Well,
Go
I'm guessing. I don't think anybody from JSU was watching. No, nobody said anything. And somebody said Clark Atlanta. Uh, so other than that, next week the Halloween episode is nothing but an hour for Bethune-Cookman University. It's nothing but a full hour. I be Dams next week for our anniversary for Halloween again, like we did last year. We're gonna do another special with nothing but horror episodes again for I be Dam. It'll be me, Starcasm and Orgasm, and I think Netta's gonna join us next week so we can break down everything for Halloween for you guys with I'll Be Damned. And hopefully we can get Avery on here to finish telling us did he really tap her mother or not.
He probably did. He won't tell nobody though.
Yeah, they're yelling Aggie Pride out there. So thank you, Latanya, for coming.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you in a few weeks. See you next week on the 26th. Back at our regular time, 8 o'clock. Our regular time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll see y'all next week.